What is going on, everyone? It's TK, and today we're going to dive into Root Rider Valkyrie guide, and this is going to be super in-depth. So we are obviously going to talk about the army and of course dive into some of my attacks on my own basis, so I can show you what other layouts and base styles can go down to these Root Rider attacks, and basically that will consider actually every single base style, hopefully for you today to watch. Now let's dive into this army kind of, I would say, introduction to tell you everything you need to know. Now this is going to be our army right here. So about the certain key things that I want to tell you is that we're always going to use either the log launcher or the troop thrower. These two are going to be the main two siege machines that we'll be using. Now I have the queen with this Frosty, but the Frosty is currently upgrading. So on this video I'm just gonna put on the the unicorn with her, so I can have a pet. You know, it's not going to be unicorn. The main army is with this pet, so have it go. If you want to upgrade it, you can use the unicorn, but definitely have it level 15 or at least working if you want to use this. If not, again, go for the unicorn. Other key thing about this entire army is the way the clan castle is set up. So we got 2 yetis, 2 minions, and 3 loons. This is going to be the 7 shots of that troop thrower. So it will throw minion, loon, yeti, and yeti. So that's the order. It will be tanking for your healers mainly, but obviously we do have the sneezy as well. So in general, that would be it about the army introduction, which are the key little things that I won't be talking during the attacks. But yeah, let's dive into this video and see how these armies are being put onto the ground. Now firstly, we're gonna have this base right here. So obviously, Town Hall 17 introduced a lot of other new, I would say, base style names. So we're gonna kind of make sure you understand certain of it, because some of them are hybrid. They are like 2 different styles combined together. So this one, we're gonna call it a diamond base, which is a core town hall. Typically, the diamond bases are just like this. Like the way they're set up is either town hall here, and the base is like designed around it like this, or the other side around, like town hall here or here, and this way the base, as you can see, designed around it. So if you want to mirror it out, that would be the mirror. This is the 2 sides. Otherwise, the other style of diamonds is going to be this type of mirror. But this one, as you can see, is the first mirror base. So it's going to be like this. This top side is going to be near damn mirror as the lower side. This is why this is called a diamond. Now, obviously, what you need to do on these bases is first thing first, notice the log launcher value. And overall, we're not typically looking for too much value. And value, I mean, like in general, things that you can get, and it makes a very good, I would say, cut. So firstly, when you see this, look at the 4 corners. Obviously these are going to be the 4 corners. Now typically what I like to do when the base is this diamond, and I know like sometimes these aren't exactly diamond, as I said, it's a core town hall 2, but we're gonna get to rings and core town hall separately, don't worry. This is what we call a diamond base right now. I wouldn't really consider these 2 areas as for the corners, because usually the town hall is a bit more further back, so that's why it's harder to log launcher that area. So mainly the log launcher will be around this or this area, like you can see exactly in that line again. That's when you know which area to go for, because this one has a multi-inferno, which means you cannot tank it with a skeleton spell. That's why the skeleton spell is in our army, so we can tank the monolith or single infernos and other points damage defenses. So this way we already found the way we are going to send the log launcher area. So you can see queen, giant arrow, log launcher. That's going to be our plan. You can see already, I'm not talking about roots, I'm not talking about the RC charge, because this gives you the next plan. From either one of these 2 sides you're gonna have the RC, because it makes the funnel, so your log launcher can then start into the monolith, and then you can start with the troops. So this means, for example, when you are choosing the top side, you're gonna have a nice little RC walk right here, clearing a few of these defenses, making that funnel. So what happens now is that the queen and giant arrow will go to the monolith, obviously, and you don't even need to care about it, because the log launcher and the giant arrow will always take down this defense and open the walls right behind it to the town hall. So your yetis actually will eventually go for that town hall, or your queen will eventually follow it up. So you're gonna see in today's video a lot of the times I actually never funnel them. Like my queen and giant, they will always follow the log launcher because it opens very nicely. And then because we are doing one part of the plan, two part of the plan, the third part will follow this little circle down. So you're going from up and down, and that's when the root riders go and approach. That's when then the king comes. You can see how things are going around the circle depending on that little log launcher plan. That's why sometimes you see, how is this guy having this in his mind? Well, because they know the base. They identify this base, log launcher area, and then a no risk RC charge. This is the important part. Let me clear these up. A lot of people, let me change the color, love to send their RC into rage towers. That's when you get baited. There's so many traps here. There are probably Teslas around this area. They're so trapped. And guys, you don't need rage towers. This is going to be the craziest, like the biggest tip I'm going to give you. You don't need rage towers with the Root Rider Valkyrie. They will go through one of them and you can overgrowth the other one. You don't have to drop the RC into it. You can get surroundings of the rage tower. So never drop your RC for that rage tower because it is baited. There is a lot of damage and you will never actually funnel everything in this area. So you're set with a nicer Root Rider path, but it will never happen. That's why never go for that. Always go opposite side. Never try to send your RC into it and try to send the roots into the rage tower. So let me play this video. Sorry, and then we're gonna see. Now for the RC charge itself, I have a completely separate video guide on it, and I believe I uploaded that maybe a week ago if I'm not mistaken. So make sure you check that. It's gonna be linked down below or at the end of this video. So yeah, check those out. But we're not gonna talk about what goes through my mind with the RC walk, the invis spells, the redirection, everything about the RC charge. I made a guide for. So today is gonna be mainly the Root Riders. Now with this RC charge, I'm just gonna simply say this. You're gonna see me keeping one invisibility spells. I'm never gonna use this invisibility spell ever in any of my Root Rider attacks unless I'm getting a crazy value right after it. But usually I get more value when I keep the invisibility. So skeleton spell, log launcher, I drop some Valkyrie and Barbarian to just come back to the queen and help him out. And watch this. We're not gonna watch the town hall going down. I'm simply going to have to start the attack. But one thing I do is a simple little double wall break. Let me actually change the color because it's harder to see. Double wall break. And this is not going to be, I'm gonna funnel the king. I'm not gonna make it too hard. I'm just simply giving the king the possibility and access to the single inferno, so he doesn't get cooked by going just around it. Something at least reach the single. After that, we have everything going down the middle. Now you're gonna see something very interesting. Sometimes when you're diving into, for example, a very heavy area like a ricochet cannon or a rage tower or enemy heroes, you can drop the ice golem early on to tank them. But in this case, there is no damage here. This Archer Tower already hitting separate things. The Expo is already on the Giant. The Wizard Tower doesn't do much. So don't drop the Ice Golem in front of your troops. That's completely waste. Let them go forward and have the Ice Golem around the King. Usually when you are not diving into heavy damage with the Root Riders, you are diving into heavy damage with your King on the outside, which is going to be in our case in this area. So you need the King to stay alive for long as possible. So that's why the Ice Golem will help you out a lot. Now, our next objective is going to be the Rage Warden ability. Now notice how far away I dropped the King. And one thing is about my Valkyries that I always tell my students is like, don't worry if they don't go to the core. If your Valkyries go to the outside, it will actually help you out more and more, not going inside. And trust me, because back then we used to have Valkyries inside because the Clan Castle troops and the skeleton spells and the enemy heroes would be super annoying. But because we got RC Electro Boots, you don't need Valkyries on the inside. You got so much other stuff. Now notice this. The log launcher going to the town hall, nice and beautiful. King, nice and easy on the outside. Everything is going fine. This is the area where I Rage Warden ability. I always love to do these two combination together. And then once I see the other Rage Tower is actually activated, maybe because of a Headhunter or something, I'll just overgrowth everything. If it's not activated and you're reaching it, you can overgrowth half of it. That's something that you're gonna see me doing sometimes on some of the attacks. I sometimes even overgrow fully like the entire Rage Tower before we even reach it because some bases are getting up to dated. So the Rage Towers are way too far from each other. This one is way too close. So obviously you can activate and then go with that. But Now that we got spells, we got invis, we got spells like free spell, you can control the back end. This is something that you still have control over. So keep those spells if you possibly can. 4 heroes alive, absolutely going to crush this double rage diamond based layout, which is quite popular right now. So that's how you can easily take it down. Don't even worry about no Tesla farm, no Giga Bomb, no traps, no, I don't know, like clan castle troops. You just have don't worry about anything, man. That's how simple this army can get to. Now, next up, I want to show you a box space, which is, for example, this kind of, I would say, mirrored layout. As you can see, this mirror is different than the last one. The town hall is a bit into the corner. This is why there is a lot of boxes, as you can see here. These are all different boxes. It's going to be called the box space, okay? So keep this in mind. If you don't know the exact, I would say, base style names, this is what we call a box space. So what you typically want to do on these ones, and it's, I would say, quite, how can I put this? It's really simple, but at the same time, not everyone is actually doing it. I would say maybe even no one is doing it. Now, this box space is trapped by my friend, and I've actually set it on my account, so I can maybe bring a base layout for you guys soon, but I'm guessing I'm bringing now. One thing I really want to showcase is people loving to go for example, around these areas to try to have this base and something like this, and then go through this town hall, go through back, and it's going to be so weird. One thing I'm going to tell you is simply always, whatever the town hall is, opposite side of it, try to get this box. Doesn't matter how deep you go. There is 4 defenses in that box. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Back to back. You don't need every single one. You can easily just get 2. That's it. All you need is 2. But if you can get the third, cool, sweet, no worries. Try to get whatever you can from this box, and we have direct access to it. Some bases don't give you that access, but this guy, my friend, he designed it in this way, so he gives you the access, but he's baited the hell out of this area because he knows I'm attacking from that area. We tested bases regarding how I attack it. So even with this bait, I'm still gonna go with this exact approach because it works wonders. You will never believe the amount of damage Root Riders can do to the base, and basically you just getting a funnel. Like, the main key thing is the funnel. So get the funnel, not the value, okay? Get the Root Rider going. She is going to switch to the left. Let her go. If there is a Tesla popping, just make sure you're ready for the redirection of the invis. Notice the invis drops. Obviously, it again comes back to the RC charge guide, so make sure you check that out. And also, like, once you're getting this monolith, all you need is the next defense. You don't have to risk your RC into taking so much damage. You're gonna see what happens. Like, right now, I can kind of, I would say, keep her going a bit more, but you know what? I'm like, let's just take her out. Once we have that funnel, whichever side the RC got more value, like you can see, she got 2 more defense on the left. So what does that mean? It means I'm going to start with the Queen Giant Arrow and the roots from the right. Just because this area is going to be like this. Your rooters are approaching the Rage Tower way too quickly. For your King and Queen to make a good funnel, for these troops to actually go nice in the base. That's why that funnel is tougher. Now, come back to the other side. Let's see the other like angle. You can see how this is like this. If you drop the roots here, they have way longer time to go and reach the Rage Tower. Your Queen and King have way longer time to get only these few defense, because then you have nice access to the core. You can see how different that becomes once you actually look at it from a different perspective. So always, whenever you want to start the root riders, as I said about the ice golem, you can see how on this base you don't have to start the ice golem right on top of here. You have to have the ice golem with the king and queen. So we can easily have the ice golem, king, and we have the witches dropping down everything from the top side. You can see how much more time we have to drop the troops, regroup, drop everything, have the rage spell or even poison spell, drop headhunters. Simple as that. You're just simply taking so much longer. And yeah, this hook tower is kind of actually going crazy. It pulled 2 root riders, and I think it's gonna pull a third, maybe a giant. Now I wasn't too sure. It's actually pulling a giant. So Rage Warden ability, notice the king and queen on the outside beautifully. Now, because this rage tower is too far, as you can see, this is what I told you about the overgrowth. Don't wait for your troops to go all the way here and then overgrowth. And no, like you might even have some issues with time. So what does that mean? That means you can actually overgrowth it way too early. Like, so overgrowth it. Why not? You're simply destroying that entire area basically for a few moments, and your troops regrouping on the lower side. You will never see me in these attacks to overgrowth. Like, for example, king and queen were here. Army is in the base. You will never see me overgrowth in between the king and queen and the army. I will overgrowth like the far side, so my army will actually rejoin the king and queen, and they are together reaching that area. You see how this works? This is the most simplest I can put it for you, and hopefully you understand this method. But always try your best to overgrowth whatever is further away from you that is damaging you. Like I would say, what do you call it? Like a fire spitter or a multi inferno or a ground expo. They're in the same area. Overgrowth them all, move away from them, and you can regroup with all your heroes and root riders and valkyries at the end of the attack. That's how we took down these box bases. And I would say, yeah, every box base I do this. Like, and it can never get baited, to be honest, because people tend to either bait the outside, as you can see, bait the rage towers, or bait the town hall area, or bait the corners. No one in their right mind bait this area. That's why my friend, he was like, you know what? I don't want to invest too much traps in it. So he only put 2 giant bombs and a giga bomb, which the giga bomb didn't even get activated. This is why you cannot bait this entry no matter how hard you try. And there are bases out there that try to bait it. But as I said, you don't even need everything. All you need is one defense. Even if I didn't get the monolith, I would be fine. I can get like one multi inferno and it would still work with this method of attacking. It's crazy how this works, but for now, let's move on to another base style. Up next, we're gonna have this base, and this is Wolfie's base, and I believe I made some changes to it, but it's not on this account. So yeah, I made some changes in my original account, but these bases, I typically want to show you, like, this is what we call a ring base. It's not going to be a core town hall base because we're gonna see what that is about. The ring base is whenever you can see, like, let me actually take this out. The ring is just like this. Everything is literally connected right around the town hall, and the same way it's going to be connected the other layer of the town hall, as you can see. This is a ring. It's literally like a ring, but it's like a square, okay? Like, I know, like, the ring is supposed to be like this, obviously, right? But this is like the ring just like this. We still call it a ring, okay? The town hall is in the core, but it's not a core town hall base, basically. You can call it. No worries, but I'm just telling you the names of the bases. Now, whenever this type of base is open, it's going to be like the diamond layout, where this is, again, symmetric from the top side. It can also be symmetric like the first base, like this, if you remember. So this means either these two are the same, or these two are the same, mirrored bases. The box space, as you saw on the last attack, it's mirrored like this, as you can see, like on the last hit. You can go back and watch it. The town hall is here. The base is set up like this type of mirror. This is why it's not going to be called a diamond, for example. Diamond and these ring bases are usually designed like these, and they're mirrored. The core bases might not be fully mirrored, but we will get to that, don't worry. So for these, check again the corners. We got 2 corners here, and again 2 corners here. One thing you can do is obviously going from with the log launcher, obviously, because again, we come back to the corners. We're not taking the RC like charges into anything. I told you about the box base where we never use the log launcher. But with these bases, I always use the log launcher with the core town hall or the ring bases. Whenever the town hall is in the core, just like the first base, I use a log launcher because there is no point. And you can always obviously reach the town hall with the RC ability, but it's just way too much nicer with this method. Now, I want to go ahead and show you this approach because some people get scared with the RC charge. Now, this plan is going to be a plan where Wolfie actually knows it. Like, he knows the plan, he baited the plan, but the base doesn't defend. This is why I'm telling you, these approaches that I'm going to show you in this video is absolutely out of this world and it's undefendable. And that's one of the reasons that I didn't fail too much last season. I only failed twice for the entire 35 days. Kind of crazy, I know, but obviously, like, I don't want to take too much credit for it. The game is not in a good area and balance wise. So yeah, it's nothing insane, but I know for some people it might be. But let's go back to the attack. So what we have again is the corner that I've decided to pick, because if you guys remember from the first base, we have a multi-inferno on the top now. Again, it doesn't allow you to go with the skeleton spell, log launcher, and queen. It will be tougher to reach that area. So from the lower side, we actually have a nice little skeleton spell here. I know there's bomb towers and the crushers, but obviously you're gonna see, like, between these two corners, the lower one seems to be a lot more better. Now, obviously, once you choose the lower side with the log launcher area, let me actually zoom out a bit more. It's going to be like this. So again, you chose the log launcher path that brings you to the RC chosen. Like, are you going to choose the right box or the left box? Now, because we have a Gigabomb and the minion prince on the right, it's a bit scary and risky. So you don't want to take too much risk with your RC. So you can have her to go on the left. Obviously, one thing I'm going to tell you is that once you don't have too much, I would say, confidence in your RC chart, and you're just diving into and you're new, whenever you see this giant and Gigabomb, just know these two entire areas are fully baited. So you can completely flip the plan. Have the log launcher on the top, no matter how hard it's gonna get. Obviously, you have the giant's arrow log launcher early, so they might take out the multi inferno before you drop the skeleton spell around this area. You can drop it, maybe you get lucky and the multi is targeting, like, I don't know, frost mites, giants, and the queen. So flip the plan if you're not really confident with your RC approaches. You can see again, once you find the log launcher corner, you have two sides to go with the royal champion. So with this being said, once you do that, again, it will be just like how I told you. It will be, for example, the first RC charge, second, the log launcher, and third, your root riders. So going again in a circle. And then, of course, fourth, your king will be down here. So yeah, but I'm confident with my, like, RC charges. I'm like, you know what? I know this area is going to be baited. I know, like, this approach might not be the most crushing one, but at the same time, I'm still gonna do it to show you the power, right? So we got giant bombs, we got the crusher mortar hitting. I think the fox might actually die in this attack. I don't quite remember. Yes, the bombs and the crusher mortar crushed the fox. Before it's too late, we're gonna take that out. Now notice this. I'm gonna drop the queen in a way so we can actually line the giant arrow to that multi inferno and completely wreck it. This is going to be risky sometimes. You know why? Because we're not damaging the walls anymore and the defense and these walls. Now the log launcher has a harder time reaching the town hall, just simply because we didn't damage the walls. Obviously, this is going to be a problem for us in this attack because we're not going to actually open everything, and you can see the ice golems and the crusher. Things are going crazy. Now again, we have going into a heavy area with the ice golem first. King and witches super further away from the army, so they have no chance of going inside the base. Try your best to have the king on the outside. Now, whenever you do this warden ability rage, always make sure you zoom out, check the corners for some Teslas. Always drop that archer if you want, drop the barbarian for the Teslas, and make sure you are compact and good to go. So next thing is gonna be the far side fire splitter, because in this attack we didn't get it. So obviously you want to overgrowth it. So what this does is you actually going around and behind the fire splitter by the time you're out of its range. So once that happens, that's when things will be behind it. So now you have way better time on the back end. Queen on the outside because simply the walls didn't get open due to that giant arrow placement. But I was like, you know what, I'd rather get the multi inferno than going into the core, because as I told you, you can always get the town hall. It's just about how good you can control the army, okay? And never be scared. You can always go back to it. You have the extra invis, and again, we have 4 heroes alive. Even though we dived into 2 baits, we didn't get the good giant arrow. The plan was the original plan, and the base is designed to defend this exact approach, but it still didn't. This is why this army is so good. But for now, let's move on to the next base. Up next, we're going to have a core town hall that I'm going to call it. It's like a ring base, but it's not exactly like a ring base, just simply because The way it's mirrored is a bit different too. As you can see, this side is mirrored to the other side, so it's not like the last one, which is like this. It was like a cross. Now this one is like an X. This is two different parts of like bases, guys. Trust me, it's crazy, but you have to remember it. Now for this part, I would tell you like how to approach these bases is a bit different, and I would say not every one of these ones are gonna be the same exact plan. One thing I would tell you to avoid is the corners, as you can see right here, and just the Gigabomb. Because typically the Gigabomb in High Legends, I know it might not have too much, I would say, traps around it because they keep you scared. But in Low Legends and Mid Legends, most of you guys who are watching this probably are in those areas. I would say there is traps around the Gigabomb, so you don't necessarily want to risk your RC getting a very, very bad value. So avoid this entire area completely. Now this brings us to the next option. One thing that I always love to do on this basis is, if you guys remember, for the box space that was also this way of mirrored, it was like this way, if you guys remember, like the town hall was here. So these bases I always like to, again, kind of, I would say, separate both of these mirrors together. So that means I want to get this box, and if the RC decides to go for either side, cool. If not, then it's fine. We still got the middle. This will separate the base into two areas. And again, you want to start around one of these sides, just like the box base. It works because you have everything in a way that it will just be around and around and around, and going with a nice overgrowth. Wait, let me actually change the color. A nice overgrowth for this side when the fire spitter is on your troops on these areas. Once you're behind the fire spitter, the overgrowth will run out and you're simply going to crush the base. So have this plan in mind to try to separate these two together. This base is also designed by my friend. This base is also designed in a way to defend me, because I told him this approach. He has Teslas, so the RC and the skeletons will pull her away. But one thing I'm gonna do whenever I find skeletons is a little cool trick with the archer. This archer will pull the skellies just in time into the electro boots so they die. This is something I used to do back in Town Hall 15, for those who remember me from the super barge attacks, when there was an electro titan in the clan castle and we had the super archer bomb in the core. Sometimes the electro titan would go to the warden that was being used with the super archers. So what I would do, if I drop the warden here, I would drop the archer further away from the super archers and the warden. So now the electro titan would have walked backwards. Now the RC did get the left. That means, again, because she got the left, we're gonna have the right approach. Queen Giant Arrow tried to set some funnel. Ice Golem, because we have Expos, Infernos, we got Heroes and the Clan Castle troops. King and Witches super far from the army, so they have again no chance of going in. You can see how this is making sense the more we talk about it. Obviously, the Hook Tower, one if not the best defense in the game. Really annoying by pulling the Root Riders on something, suddenly might pull your RC. Just watch out and keep cool. Headhunter's Rage Warden ability. I wall break the king because honestly on the lower side he wouldn't give me too much value, and I'd rather for him to go in this area to actually find those corner traps. It's a little key thing. You don't have to necessarily know everything about these steps, but it's something that you will get by playing the game more and having more experience. So overgrowth the left, obviously. Now you need to use the spells properly and never try to lose the RC on the ability. So invis or freeze if you need to. We have the RC ability still. We have a very low back end because we got 3, or is it 4 heroes still after all of that damage. Obviously king will start to die out, and now with the RC, queen, root riders and everything, you can crush the base. The easiest, I would say, RC charge is always the best. Never try to complicate it. Never try to be greedy with it. Never try to go for spell towers that is going to be costly of your Fox or your RC. At the end of the day, you don't need value, as I said, you need funnel. And if you make the funnel, no matter how low it was, no matter if it was only 2 defense, you will still crush the base. That's just simply how root riders are. That's why I don't understand when someone comes and say, yeah, Root Riders is not the strongest, or Rockaloons is the strongest army in the game, or I don't know, something else is the strongest army. It just doesn't make sense because you don't need any focus. Everyone can do it. You don't need any crazy equipments. You don't need any crazy plannings. It's simply something that it comes back to greed. If you are greedy, you will never be a good player. Let me put it in that area. So let's move on to our next base. Now, next up, I designed this base myself, and I really wanted to test it out a bit in, I would say, like different aspects of the game. But one thing that is for sure, and that is going to be, this base is also set up in a diamond layout. So the town hall, and again, the mirrored side, so a diamond base. Now, what you do in these diamond bases is opposite side of the town hall, log launcher. Every single one of these, you want to log launcher the opposite side. Don't worry about hard mode, that's completely different. And planning for the hard mode is just really different. So yeah, this is going to be all for regular mode with the Root Riders. Now again, with that log launcher plan, now you already know how we're gonna RC charge one of these sides. Notice, guys, there is no proper defense there because I know what I would do on my base. So I didn't put any crazy defense here to give value. What I did was a very further away defenses. So when the attacker is getting the RC charge, by the time they reach this area, they need to choose, are they going to invest their last invis? Are they going to have a perfect RC charge? If they use their last invis, the hook tower is waiting for them. If things go wrong, they cannot get it back. If RC dies through ability, they cannot make her invisible. That's why the hook tower is on this base, and that's why there is no defense on these areas that can really be top tier defense. It's just one expo. Simple as that. So me knowing this exact, I would say, base, the exact traps as for, because I designed it, I'm going to dive into every single one of those and try to make it as, I would say, as much I would say pointy as possible. So for now, as you can see, I actually made the monolith invisible, so our original plan doesn't go to, like, you know, bin. Okay, I really want to get as much as I can further away, but you can see I can get more value. I can even get the full ricochet cannon, but I'm not gonna do that. I can see the RC switch to the queen, so I will let her die. And now, pulling the RC, going with the giant arrow and the queen, the next step will be Root Riders into this area. But of course, because there is no heavy early damage, we're gonna have the ice golem around the ricochet cannon and the enemy hero. You can see how the points that I mentioned on the last things, like it coming back here, king and witches, I'm dropping the barbarian to funnel the king, obviously. Now, one thing I did, because I know this approach, was I made sure, let me actually go a bit further in this attack, log launcher doing amazing, but one thing I did was I had some Teslas around this mortar, so that means if the queen takes out these two buildings quickly, guys, the roots will go way around the town hall, and the heavy core with the, like, the sweeper and the spitter will kill the queen way too quickly, which is gonna happen in this attack. Like, I myself know every single one of these areas, and I want to show you, even if the base is perfectly set up for you to fail, you will never fail. It's just like that. Like, there's a reason why there's some people that never fail, and it's because the way they're hitting the base cannot be defended. No matter what you try, no matter how many times you test this base, it will never defend someone like me who has few different plans for it. You can tell me Gigabomb is here, or for example the tornado is here, and I can dive into the tornado with my RC charge and still find a way to triple that base. Obviously, that comes back to the game being not balanced in a way that, yeah, Root Riders are dominating. Everyone is using Root Riders in the high legends. You don't see any other armies because they don't give you what Root Riders give you. There's a reason why this army is the best, and that's simply because it can be done really well. It's crushing, it's really toxic, it's harder to defend and easier to perform. Meanwhile, it does give you way more advantage over the people who are using the other armies, because if you fail with the other armies, it's so hard to get that trophy back. But with the Root Riders, you don't even get to fail. That's why it's going to be easier to push in Legends. That's why in High Legends, maybe 1% of the entire top 500 uses something else. It's crazy. I mean, yeah, not 1%, but you know what I mean. Like, there is more, but it's not as much as you would say this army is not good, or this army is top second army or top third army. This army is the top army of the game. If it wasn't, people weren't using it too much. people weren't, just flexing with it in High Legends and, not failing. Obviously, this is going to be the full guide of this army, and hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. I have, I would say, the army link down below in the description, so take it, do some practice, make sure you check out the RC charge itself so you can combine these two together and simply help your clan, help your leaders and the co-leaders to just win wars. CWL, help yourself to push in Legends League before, I would say, the system change in the future. Maybe we're gonna have a different system in Legends. I don't know what's gonna happen. I'm not currently pushing with either of my accounts because I don't see a point in it, and I have a complete different video for that too. So I'll link actually those two down below, and actually not down below, at the end of this video. And again, hopefully you guys enjoyed this. Let me know down below what else you want to see on the channel, and hopefully I'll see you soon. Take care and peace.